Before we start, though, I should tell you something. There's no such thing as witches. There's no such thing as witches. I promise you 100%. Now, this book might get a little bit scary, might get a little bit dark. It's meant to make you feel a little bit scared, although it's going to be funny as well, but it's meant to make you feel a little bit scared. But I want to assure you before I begin reading it that there is no such thing as witches. No witches are going after children. If you have any problems with anyone that you think might be a witch, get in touch with me. I'll personally take care of it, but you are fine. No such thing as witches. Even though I'm just about to read a whole thing that's saying that witches are real, they're not real. But now you need to put away reality. We're going to get into the story. This is chapter 1 of The Witches by Roald Dahl, and it's called A Note About Witches. In fairy tales, witches always wear silly black hats and black cloaks, and they ride on broomsticks. But this is not a fairy tale. This is about real witches. And the most important thing that you should know about real witches is this. Listen very carefully and never forget what is coming next. Real witches dress in ordinary clothes, and they look very much like ordinary women. They live in ordinary houses and they work in ordinary jobs. This is why they are so hard to catch. A real witch hates children with a red-hot, sizzling hatred that is more sizzling and red-hot than any hatred that you could imagine. A real witch spends all of her time plotting to get rid of the children in her particular territory. Her passion is to do away with them one by one. It is all that she thinks about the whole day long. Even if she's working as a cashier at a supermarket or typing letters for a businessman or driving around in a fancy car, and she could be doing any of these things, her mind will always be plotting and scheming and churning and burning and whizzing and fizzing with murderous, bloodthirsty thoughts. Which child, she says to herself all day long. Exactly. Which child shall I choose for my next squelching? A real witch gets the same pleasure from squelching a child as you get from eating a plate full of strawberries and thick cream. Now, she reckons on doing away with one child a week. Anything less than that, she becomes grumpy. 1 child a week is 52 a year. Squish them and squill them. Make them disappear. Now that is the motto of all witches. Very carefully, a victim is chosen, and then the witch stalks the wretched child like a hunter stalking a little bird in the forest. She treads softly. She moves quietly. She gets closer and closer. And then at last, when everything is ready, she swoops. Sparks fly, flames leap, oil boils, rats howl, skin shrivels, and the child disappears. A witch, you must understand, does not knock children on the head or stick knives into them or shoot them with a pistol. People who do those things get caught by the police. A witch never gets caught. Now don't forget, she's got magic in her fingers and devilry dancing in her blood. She can make stones jump about like frogs, and she can make tongues of flame go flickering across the surface of water. These magic powers are very frightening. Luckily, there are not a great number of real witches in the world today, but there are still quite enough to make you nervous. In England, there are probably about 100 of them altogether. Some countries have more, some have not quite so many. No country in the world is completely free from witches. A witch is always a woman. Now, I do not wish to speak badly about women. Most women are lovely. But the fact remains that all witches are women. There is no such thing as a male witch. On the other hand, a ghoul is always a male. So indeed is a barghest. Now, both are dangerous, but neither of them is half as dangerous as a real witch. As far as children are concerned, a real witch is easily the most dangerous of all the living creatures on earth. And what makes her doubly dangerous is the fact that she doesn't look dangerous. Even when you know all the secrets, and you'll hear about those in a minute, you can still never be quite sure whether it's a witch that you're gazing at or just a kind lady. I mean, if a tiger was able to make himself look like a large dog with a waggy tail, you'd probably go up and pat him on the head. And that would be the end of you. It's the same with witches. They all look like nice ladies. Now kindly examine the picture below. That's this picture here. I don't know if you can see it. Right? This technology. Did it. There you go. Two normal women. Couldn't be more wrong. Now, which lady is the witch? It's a difficult question, but it is one that every child must try and answer. For all you know, a witch might be living next door to you right now. Or she might be a woman with the bright eyes who sat opposite you on the bus this morning. Or she might be the lady with the dazzling smile who offered you a sweet from a white paper bag in the street before lunch. She might even, and this will make you jump, she might even be your lovely school teacher who is reading these words to you at this very moment. It's not me. It's not me. Perhaps she's smiling at the absurdity of such a suggestion. Don't let that put you off. It could be part of her cleverness. I'm not, of course, telling you for 1 second that your teacher is actually a witch. All I'm saying is that she might be one. It's most unlikely, but, and here comes the big but, it's not impossible. Oh, if only there was a way of telling for sure whether a woman was a witch or not. Then we could round them up and put them in the meat grinder. Unhappily, there is no such way. But there are a number of little signals that you can look out for. Little quirky habits that all witches have in common. And if you know about these, if you remember them always, then you might just possibly manage to escape from being squelched before you are very much older.